in Arizona started this idea is we need to make it a federal holiday. Well, not holiday, that's not a good word, but that's what we called it. It's not really a good word. Excuse me. And that's where it came about. And what they did is they went with the idea, and all the chapters throughout the United States, and we also have some chapters in Canada and some in England, we all started just blowing up the telephone lines. After fighting all the laws I had fought, I thought they're going to fight this, but they didn't. They passed it right away. They still don't fly the flag at half-mast. Most of the politicians don't even acknowledge that this day is here. Because then I think people should see, I wish the news media would show, at least, remember years ago, when Dave Ward said at 10 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock, and you know where your kids are? And Channel 26 had, like they did a crime story, and of course I'm aging myself because this was a long time ago. But also the thing that is that there's so much that we go through, and only we understand each other. I'm not saying we're better than other victims, but I'm saying we have such a horrible time understanding how someone could brutally murder our loved one. They killed her because she was there. And because of a bad judge, one of the boys only got 7 years served to in his streets. And he had been charged with 2 counts of capital murder. But I have to put in a plug for HPD because the poor homicide detective that worked the case, when nobody else would stand with me and her boyfriend's mother, it was the force homicide detective that fought for us. But there's so many things too that we all go through. It's like I say, is that I went to bed and evil entered my life. I had, went to church all my life and really didn't know what evil was. And I thought I pretty much knew everything. We are. I found out, I did have a lot of souvenir tickets. But other than that, I didn't have much to do with police officers. Our neighborhood back then, I grew up on the east end of Houston. And that this could enter my life. And then I was lucky, I found out about parents and their children right away. And there's so much we go through, and we go crazy. I mean, we do crazy things. One of the homicide detectives called me one time and said, I am not believing it was one of our members. I said, we're crazy. We go crazy. We do crazy things. We go and God knows when they let one of the killers out on a $20,000 bond for 2 counts of capital murder. Annette Lopez and I, the kid's mother, we knew everything. The problem is we went to an investment to be perfect in makeup, and if it wasn't, then we did it. And I think one of the things that bothered me the most is they put her in the bio by the U of H, the original U of H. And so she was in the water, and they had her on the bank. And she was full of mud, and, we shouldn't have to go through that. We shouldn't have to go through that. And I'm not going to take much more of your time, but I do want to tell all of y'all, we do meet the second Tuesday of each month, right here in the Crime Stoppers building at 7 o'clock. And there are other laws that Andy, we kind of got passed before Andy kind of come along. And when my daughter was murdered, victims had no rights. We had absolutely no rights. That's why the police officers had to stand up and fight for us, is because we had no rights. Parents of murdered children got the Victims' Rights Bill passed. Parents of murdered children for ex-husband. We fought for years. I'm not as good as Andy. I can't tell you how many legislations it took to get, if you kill a child under a certain age, that you were automatically eligible for the death penalty. We also got the law changed that if you kill, it's not serial killers, is it where they kill one person and then they kill, I forgot. Yeah, that because we had gotten, you could kill, like, because in Dallas they killed him in a bar, but then there was a Dallas again. They just went from bar to bar and killed him at each bar, so he wasn't eligible for the death penalty. We got that changed to where if that's what you do, you're eligible for the death penalty. And we worked hard for a lot of laws, and that's what I'm telling all of y'all. We need to get our protest signs out. We got judges out on this. And how we did that, Judge Norman led a person had killed a sheriff's deputy, and no, the deputy wasn't on duty. But Judge Norman was going to give him probation. And the same judge, Tommy Locke, which some of y'all may remember, the little boy that was tortured to death, he was not going to let the mother be charged, and he was going to give the guy that did it very little time. And I won't tell you how we did it, but we got autopsy pictures of where he had tortured that kid with lit cigarettes. And we marched downtown. We've got to do that again, folks. We've got to
Thank you. Again, parents of murdered children and surviving family members of every month from 7 to 9 p.m. First name on this list is Patrick's sister. Person charged with the murder was on 7 felony bonds and on an ankle monitor, recently served 5 years in prison. And I'll never forget when Teresa contacted me and part of this. But Teresa, God bless her, she's been to Austin with us several times, testifying on bond reform legislation. And when she said, I want to make a difference, I said, you're going to make a difference.
Good evening. I hope that you all will bear with me. It's been really emotional for me and my family, especially this month. My name is Teresa Sack, and this is my brother, Patrick Akins. We lost him a year ago on September 20th to murder, 4 days after his birthday, September 16th. He was a loving man, caring, had a genuine heart, would do anything for anybody if you asked him for help. Always had a smile on his face. When you saw my brother, this is how he looked. He was small, never had anything bad to say about anybody. Never into any drama mess. He was a little bit trusting of everybody. He loved life. He loved to laugh. He loves smiling. He loves his family, his friends. Our mom, it was just the two of us, just me and my brother a year apart. And he probably wouldn't mind me telling you guys this, but he wouldn't be embarrassed to say, but he was a mama's boy. I know he's laughing right now, looking at me. He had her face tattooed on his heart. He was the type of person that would text his family and friends several times a week, even distant relatives. He always made you feel special, and I feel like now, we kind of took that for granted because all I have now is the text messages he would send me all the time. And the calls, just checking on you, big sister. Hope you have a good day. It's still hard for us to believe that this happened to him. He was walking outside of his apartment. I guess he stepped away. He was in the middle, getting ready to watch the Texans' first game of the season last year. He walked outside of his apartment. Was his life? You don't know the pain. Well, a lot of you do, unfortunately, know the pain of having a normal evening, Sunday evening, and getting a phone call letting you know that your loved one was down on the ground with a white sheet over. I still can't believe that today. But the worst thing, and that worst part of it, if you can imagine it being any worse, is that the person that murdered my brother, I heard one of the persons that murdered my brother was out on bond at the time. It gets worse. This could have been prevented. Aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. And that was the same crime that he committed just before, when he was let out on bond, just before the murder of my brother. So can you think about that for a second? And within a year's time, arrested 4 times and released out on bond. Go do that again, released on bond again and again, 4 times. And imagine how much crime he had to commit to be caught 4 times in a year. So that very same judge that let him out on all 4 of those times is the judge that we currently have to depend on to get justice. So I have to see her face, be respectful, hope and pray that she doesn't let this person out again. Thank God he's in jail for now. But I think that like Andy said, I never thought that I would be standing here today, and especially angry that a judge would do this. They're there as the last line of defense to protect us from this kind of violence. So I don't want to get into anything political. I'm surprised that I'm even saying this is political when it comes to public safety. But this is the time we're living in right now, and it has become political. So I'm not going to get into this problem. We need to do something about this problem. We are the ones that gave them their position, their power. This judge was elected. And as reported, she's only been on the bench for 2.5, 3 years. And as reported, there have been 8 people that was murdered while out on bond under her watch. Can you imagine? If a regular citizen committed 8 murders, they would be called a serial killer. We need to think about who we are elected into these offices. And like they said, that Andy has said this, and Kim On has said this is the #1 priority for our city. I love my city, born and raised here, together, and we have the power to change this. This shouldn't happen. Thank you.
I had one for every single one of y'all in here, because there's a slogan on this coin I want you to hold on to, okay? So this is a gift from Constable Keith to you, and I wish we could give it to everyone. The saying on here says, evil is powerless when the good are unafraid. Don't be afraid.
rugby fan. Her son, Edward, was a manager of Popeyes. Robbery. It took us,
This Barbara or that Barbara? Good evening, everyone. My name is Barbara Virapan. I have known Andy, Kim, Gilda, many people for 12 years. I know a lot of people said a lot of things. It was all said already. But I just have an advice for everyone. It does not matter who we are. It does not matter what color we are. It doesn't matter how we walk, how we dress, what we do. We are all the same people. It took me 5 years. I go to court every month, and there is a reset every time. There goes my person who parents of murdered children, they were there. Everyone we know, I know, because he don't cook, even though he worked at Popeyes. he would make turkey for everyone else, but he wouldn't cook for us. On Thursday, I remember that I asked him, my little son, I said, could you cook? He goes, Mom, no, let him do his homework. I'm going to cook. That day he cooked. So, I don't know, a lot of people, pita bread, well, we call it roti. He says, Mom, I want roti. And I said, okay. So I came home and I made it. He cooked everything else. I made the roti. I never seen my son eat that much. He ate not one, not two, not three, but 4. And I don't know if that was a sign to tell us there was something going on or whatever. He wanted a car. So he said, okay. So he wanted to go get his own car. He goes, Mom, do you think they have a green car? I said, okay. We'll find out. We asked. Unfortunately, they didn't have one there. But yes, we were going to get it this Saturday. The guy says, yes, we can have a green car for him. We went out. So now when we were going to take a test drive, he told his dad, he don't call him father or dad, he goes, Fodger. He goes, you go in the back, let the lady come in the front. So I sat in the front and I said, child, slow down. You're going too fast. I said, he goes, no, Mom, it's a test drive. So we did, we did the car, we did everything. So Friday he went to work. It was never a day that I don't know how to remember that day. I don't know if I should cry, if I should laugh, or what to do, but some days it's very hard for me. I don't want to get out of my bed. I don't want to get off my room because this child is not home. I said, go ahead, sleep. He's probably with his friend. So our room is here and his room is here. So he don't like us to close the door until he gets home, even though the other side is home. So we left the door. He goes, I went into his room. He's not there. I said, really? Just go back to sleep. It's okay. He'll come. My husband didn't go back to sleep. We put on the news. We put on the radio. Every time something comes on, we go to sleep. We did not know. The person who was working when the call was made, that dispatched the call, didn't even know was my son. And he is like a son to me. He's at my house every day. Didn't even know. So there are grief, but